I don't know what to say. You got Buddy kicking doors down and just hitting, just kicking, blah, 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 blah. Kick the door down, blah, 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 blah. Nobody move with the money, blah, 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 blah. What it do, YouTube? It's Ty Fatty with the Fatty. Back at y'all with another video, man. I know why we're here. To handle business, but before we handle that business, man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to say it again, bro. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to say it one more. Matter of fact, like, comment, subscribe. Fly Guy beat you up, man. He a Crip every Christmas, man. The story of OG Santa Claus. Never heard of him. Never even seen him on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, nothing. So we better tap in, man. Let's get it.
In this episode,
shout out Hood War Stories, man. Y'all know we on the West Coast. I'm trying to tap in some more. Drop a like on the video for your boy. If you from the West Coast, leave it in the comment. Let me know where you from. Let's go.
Alberto Von Cotto, also known as Santa Claus, was a second-generation member of the Rolling 20 neighborhood Bloods. During the 1950s and 60s, a gang called Blood Alley existed on Cordova Street, near where the Santa Monica Freeway is today. In the early 1970s, as Blood Alley began to fade away, the youths from this neighborhood continued the Blood identity. In 1971, they began with the name In Hood. They added the Rolling 20s between 1975 and 1977. At some point between 1977 and 1979, they added Blood to their name. In the 70s, they had two main cliques, 25th and 27th Street. Originally being the Vermont Villain Boys, the 29th Street clique was formed on the south end of the neighborhood towards Jefferson. Santa Claus got initiated into the Rolling 20s when he was only 16 years old. From the start, he was determined to display that he was the ultimate gangster and to position the Rolling 20s to be a top blood neighborhood across LA County. As a teenager, his gangbanging was bold and came with no fear. At 17, Santa Claus would be flamed up wherever he went. Red house shoes, red rags, and chucks with red laces. On a few occasions, his open display would backfire on him. One day, Santa Claus went head up and fought 6'5" Deuce Hovers outside the swimming pool at Expo Park. He got packed out, but it showcased how fearless and frontline he was. It's no one Santa Claus hated more than the Harlem Crips, who were the 20s' lifelong foe and primary rival, located just south of them. His ill feelings and hatred toward the Harlems would be expressed on many occasions. Allegedly, Santa Claus deboed members of their gang so many times that he was the sole reason they began to start using guns. When gunplay came into effect, Santa Claus would pay a visit to a rival Crips home each Christmas and kill them.
Shawty, do you know how much of a menace you gotta be to somebody for them to pick up a gun? You want me? Especially back then? Shawty, do you know how much he had to terrorize them people for them to start picking up iron? And ain't no more fists. We trying to blow this nigga up. You with me? And then they said he went to a Crip house every Christmas and dropped their ass off with a present. I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know, it's a lot of stuff going on nowadays, bro. Like, you know, like 2024 and, 2023, But back in the day, them niggas really meant business. They was really handling it. It wasn't none of this internet beefing. We fake beefing on the internet, trying to look sweet, sound cool. They was really, back in the day, them youngins, they had a plan and they was not going to stop until they completed their mission. Every Christmas, he went to a Crip house. Like, with that being said, so boom. In LA, or like even if you, I don't care if you from up north, more up north, down south, Midwest, or LA West Coast, whatever. If y'all beefing, if you a Crip and y'all beefing with the Bloods, and you see this girl every day, she really, she in that, she really a Blood, and y'all see her out, does she get the same treatment as a dude who would be a Blood, or do y'all spare the women and let the women deal with the women? Let me know in the comments, man. Or not y'all, but do people like, because like I said, we don't got gangs where I'm from, bro, so I don't really know the politics. I don't know how it really work. I know here, if you from this hood and a female from this hood and she really be on that dissing your dead people, them bullets ain't got no name. She getting hit. I'm telling you right now, that's really how I go out here, and they don't care. You could be 12 years old. If you say one thing about somebody dead people, bro, you getting hit. They don't. They pushing up on you. They gonna do what they do, just like you 40 years old, or if you a man. I'm dead serious. Let me know if that go down out there too.
But this terror inflicted by Santa Claus was year-round, not just on Christmas. And it wasn't one-sided. One night in 1981, the Harlem Crips caught Santa Claus sipping walking home from his girlfriend's house. They got up on him, and shot him at point-blank range.
Damn.
They left him in the alley thinking he was dead, but he survived and shocked his enemies 1 week later.
Damn.
By walking down Exposition, which is in his enemy's territory, wearing a red rag over his head. As his reputation grew, his name became feared among hoods across South Central. By the mid-80s, Santa Claus was a respected OG and a shot caller who was directing play calls. At that point, the war with the Harlem 30s was ongoing and only seemed to be intensifying. Santa Claus thought it would be a good strategy to change war tactics. At that time, the Rollin' 30's closest ally was the Rollin' 60 Crips. During the mid-80s, plenty of Crip factions were clicking up due to the rising Crip-on-Crip violence. Under Santa Claus's leadership, the 20s decided to conduct a kill mission dressed in all blue. Their target location was the intersection of Dinker and Jefferson Boulevard, a Rollin' 30 stronghold, but a location that was openly visible. As the 20s approached Dinker, they spotted a group of Harlem 30s in clear view. The faces of the Harlem 30s were confused. One of the 20s then yelled out, "West Side 60 Crip." The 20s then began to let off numerous shots in rapid succession. As the third target was shot and dropped, the 20s sped away and returned to their safe haven. Mission accomplished.
So they just hit their ass with the reverse psychology. We about to spin on them in their colors and then say we they ally, so they start beefing with the... Oh, man. Oh, man.
Casualties on both sides continued.
Oh,
In the
man.
early 1980s, the Rollin' 20 Bloods had 3 cliques: 25th Street, 27th Street, and 29th Street. The Harlem 30s also had 3 cliques at that time: the Dinkers, the Avenues, and the 39th Street faction. At that time, Santa Claus and OG Head were key in expanding the Rollin' 20s by securing turf by enlisting the 2nd Avenue Gangsters to become a part of the Rollin' 20 Bloods. The avenues were named for the streets between Arlington and Crenshaw Boulevard. The Rollin' 30s and the Rollin' 60s also had cliques of the same name at that time. In 1985, Santa Claus called a hood meeting for all cliques at Lauren Miller Park to officially establish that the 2nd Avenues are a legitimate clique. The 2nd Avenues arrived shortly after, and everyone began to celebrate. The 20s had now expanded to 4 cliques and were elevating their status as a premier blood gang in LA County. In doing so, the Rollin' 20 Bloods expanded land area to having arguably the largest blood gang territory in Los Angeles. Their neighborhood not only covered the West Adams area from Vermont to Crenshaw, but now extended north passing Washington, Venice Boulevard, and Pico between Crenshaw and Western Avenue. But their celebration was being watched. Not long into the meeting, groups of Harlem Crips descended into their neighborhood and started attacking both sides of their park, boxing them in. Santa Claus immediately sprinted toward the east end of the park in an attempt to combat the attack. Once in range, Santa Claus extended his right arm and fired 3 shots at his enemies. 1 Crip down. Santa Claus fired 2 more shots. Another Crip down. The Harlem's attack had backfired on them. They picked the injured homies up and threw them in the car and quickly sped away. As the South End war front heightened against the Harlem Crips, the 27th, 25th, and 29th Street clique launched attacks that extended beyond their enemy's main base of operation. Several Crip factions began to click up to slow down the 20s' offensive attacks. On the west side, the Harlems clicked up with the 60s, and in the deep west, the Harlem 30s could be seen kicking it with the Showline Crips at Venice Beach. So one day, Santa Claus ordered a few carloads of 20 members to slide into Showline territory in hopes of finding some Rollin' 30s. When they arrived, their hopes came into fruition as they spotted Harlem 30s on the Venice boardwalk. Both equal in numbers, the collision escalated into a large-scale gang fight. Law enforcement arrived deep shortly after, and many were arrested from both sides that day. Meanwhile, back on the home front, the 20s struck back at the Harlem 30s on a personal level.
Oh my God.
Both sides knew each other by names and knew where each other lived. Santa Claus started to target the home tactic, and many homes were hit, including the home of a high-ranking OG from Harlem. One night, the OG threw a party for his Harlem homies. As the party was going, Santa Claus bust down the door and began shooting at everyone in the party. Multiple Harlem members wound up dead that night. Word began to spread quickly of Santa Claus's actions, and people were beginning to think he was untouchable. Santa Claus would spend a good portion of the next 7 years in prison. Santa Claus was released from prison in 1992. As a welcome home gift, members of the 20s laced him up with plenty of dope and cash. Shortly after being fresh out, Santa Claus took command of the war campaign against the Schoolyard Crips. The Schoolyard Crips were the 20s' hated enemy to the west. Skirmishes on their border of Crenshaw occurred frequently. During that time, Santa Claus found a girlfriend on Bronson Avenue. She mirrored his gangster ways, selling dope out of her 1-bedroom apartment and carrying a pair of twin .380 chrome pistols. But on January 13th, 1993, the gang world was shocked when they discovered Santa Claus had been murdered. The 20s instantly pointed the finger at the schoolyard Crips. By nightfall, all cliques of the Rolling Twins gathered at the headquarters, Lauren Miller Park, to discuss a revenge plan.
Hey,
that
bro.
night, 5 Crips.
Hey, bro, this shit feel like a movie. Hey, bro, this is one of the best videos I've done in a while, bro. Like, I ain't even been saying nothing, bro, cause this shit is, I don't know what to say. You got Buddy kicking doors down and just hitting, just kicking, bah, 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 bah. Kick the door down, bah, 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 bah. Nobody move with the money, bah, 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 bah. They clicking up, coming up with plans. They sliding to Venice Beach, pushing up on the whole the Showline Crips to fight. The 30s, the boxed them in at they pop, and Santa Claus somehow, bah, 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 1 Crip down, bah, 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 2 Crip down. Hey, Santa Claus was a bad mamma jamma, boy. I'm telling you, Santa Claus, he bad. That's a bad man.
Hoods were all hit simultaneously. The Harlem Crips, the Schoolyard Crips, the West Boulevard Crips, the Rolling 40 Crips, and the 5-5 Neighborhood Crips. The message was sent clear that night that the Rolling 20s wanted blood. The Harlem Crips and the Schoolyard Crips immediately struck back. The following night, the 20s ventured into the heart of the schoolyards and shot down 3 members, one of which was high-ranking.
Damn.
After 2 weeks of intense warfare, the Schoolyard Crips were ready to call a truce and firmly denied their involvement in the Santa Claus murder. But the war against the Harlem Crips didn't stop, and the bodies began to pile up. The 20s also struck at the Rolling 40s hard in the corner of Vermont and Vernon, and the 5-5 Neighborhood Crips got hit with a 50-shot Uzi. During the bloody aftermath of Santa Claus's death, the 20s wanted to show hoods across LA just how much muscle they had, and willed to declare war on 5 Crip hoods at the same time.
Damn.
When Santa Claus's killer was finally revealed, many were left shocked and confused. The killer was not a gang member or even an affiliate, but a low-level weed dealer from Jamaica. Santa Claus supposedly robbed a Jamaican because he was pushing in his neighborhood. Young gunners canvassed the streets for nights on end searching for the killer, but he had disappeared, some believe out of state. The 20s' revenge was denied. Santa Claus left a reputation and legacy, and to this day, Santa Claus goes down as one of the top 10 blood riders in LA history.
Santa Claus was a bad boy. Now, it's crazy though, right? You know, like, it's somebody in the 20s and like schoolyard in the 30s that is related to somebody that done passed away on both sides of them, and they still beefing because of this right here. And that's why it'll never stop. I just be thinking about that. Like, somebody, one of them little 14, 15-year-olds' grandfather was one of them. Or uncle or father was one of them, bruh. And they go so hard because they lost them to this right here. That's why it never stop. I don't see no troops coming. I don't see no white flag being raised. I don't see... It'll never stop. There's too much bloodshed, man. Too many people been lost behind this, man. Hey, LA boy, I'm learning more. We getting there. I'm learning, LA. We here. We here. Ty Fetty is here. LA Ty Fetty is here. If you from LA, just tell your friends Ty Fetty is here. With that being said, man, it's Ty Fetty with the Fetty. Man, make sure y'all stay smart, man. Stay dangerous. And I'm gonna catch y'all next time. I'm gone.